Hello you guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't already know me, my name is Brittany. If you're new here, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, and consider subscribing because it'd be really cool and it'd help me out a lot. Don't be afraid to hit that little notification bell to get notified every single time that I post because it is very rarely, if ever, because unfortunately I am a very busy person. For those of you that don't already know me, I currently, by day, I am an exotic veterinarian technician. By night, I make YouTube and a little bit of porn videos. So pretty much by day, I'm an exotic vet tech. By night, I make adult content. That being said, I have currently been working at the exotic animal hospital that I work for a year as of the date of this recording, which is May 22nd, 2020. I started working there May 22nd, 2019, so today is my 365-day anniversary. And today I finally get to bring home the newest addition to our family. This is Coco. Coco is a mealy Amazon. For those of you who don't already know, mealy Amazons are currently the largest known species of Amazon parrot. There are about 30 to 50 different species, if not more, of known Amazon parrots. Amazon parrots are typically characterized by their bright green coloring and their rambunctious personality. Now, Amazons, specifically mealy Amazons, in captivity can live upwards to 50 to 90 years of age. Typically, it's somewhere in between there, more around the ages of 60 to maybe 70, and Coco here is of 30 years of age, 30 years and a few months, give or take. So let's get into Coco's story because she has got quite a history. Now, this bird right here, Coco with a K, she has been through, I would say, come on, step up. I would say Coco here has been through at least 4 or 5 different homes. So this would probably be her 5th or 6th home and her final one. So the way I met Coco was about probably a good 6 to 8 months ago. I was working in the rooms at the hospital when an emergency came in for a bird that has some swelling of the eyes and around the nares, so around some swelling around the eyes and the nose, frequent sneezing, a little bit of coughing, just overall lethargy, no longer eating. She came in with a lot of issues and on an emergency visit. Now, the person that brought her in was a young woman and her father. They had been I believe, her 3rd or 4th home. And they had explained that to us. She was only being fed nothing but seed mix, which, for those of you that don't know, seed mix has little to no nutritional value whatsoever. As a matter of fact, seed mix, the dietary content or the nutritional content of it is right up at the top, fat. Right below that, a little bit of fiber. Right below that, just a little bit of protein. And below that, mostly just saturates. So, that being said, seed mix has really no nutritional value for birds. Birds should be eating a balanced, pelleted diet, whether that be from the brands Supreme, Rowdy Bush, Harrison's, even Higgins has some good pelleted food. K-Tech, which is what this girl here eats. We finally got her converted over to a pelleted diet. She no longer eats any seed mix. She only eats K-Tech, which is a perfect formulated diet with all of the nutrients that she needs. We're trying to get her to eat some fresh fruits and vegetables, which is also important for a bird's diet. But she's a very picky eater, but I'm just glad that she's off seed mix. Of course, as a result from her all seed mix diet, she now has liver disease, more than likely has heart disease, because again, seed mix is nothing but fat, a little bit of protein, the tiniest bit of protein, and a little bit of fiber, mostly just fat though. So of course, got some liver disease, that's a given. So she will be on 3 medications for the rest of her life. One of them is a pain control med for any pain and inflammation from any arthritis that she has. The other medication is what's called milk thistle and lactulose, which is to help her liver. And then she's taking one other medication, and I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but she takes 3 medications that she will likely have to be on for the rest of her life. But that's just fine. Also, for more than likely the rest of her life, she's going to have to go in for nasal flushes once a week. So if you don't know what that is, basically, you know how humans have neti pots where you fill it up with water, you turn your head, you open your mouth, you plug one of your nostrils, and then you pour the neti pot into the other nostril, and then all of the stuff from your nasal cavities comes out your mouth. That's what she has to get done weekly. But for birds, we basically take about a 10, for her size, about a 10 cc syringe full of NaCl, which is just saline basically. We flip them upside down while restraining them, and we insert the saline into their nostrils while plugging one nostril, and all of the water comes out of their mouth. So it's basically a bird neti pot, and that's what she has to get done once a week for basically the rest of her life because of the reason she came in on the emergency. So when her owner at the time brought her in on the emergency, they gave us the okay to do a full workup on her to get her tested for all kinds of stuff. So her test came back positive for aspergillosis. So she had aspergillosis, she also had pseudomonas, and she had avian chlamydia, which is also known as psittacosis. So psittacosis, aka avian chlamydia, aka parrot fever, is something that is transmittable from birds to humans and from humans to birds. Yes, you heard that correctly. You can get chlamydia from birds. And they won't even show any signs or symptoms that they have it a lot of the time until it's too late, because these are on the bottom of the food chain, meaning they're prey. So they're really good at hiding their sickness, their illness, anything that may, be afflicting them, because that's how they survive in the wild, by pretending that everything is fine. So she was really, really sick by the time she came in and started showing symptoms. Of course, when they did the testing, she tested positive for chlamydia, aspergillosis, and pseudomonas. So currently, she has been treated. Yes, that is right. Chlamydia is curable even in humans. So she no longer has chlamydia. The aspergillosis is pretty much under control. The pseudomonas, she still has she's still battling that just a little bit. So as a result of the aspergillosis, the pseudomonas, and the chlamydia all being in her system at the same fucking time, she's going to have a bit of discharge from her nose for the rest of her life. She also has a bit of swelling right by her nares, here and here. When she first came in, her eyes looked like she had gotten punched in the face. Like her eyes were just swollen and almost black and blue, and they were just almost completely swollen shut to the point she couldn't even see. As well as her nares were just full of just discharge and mucus. They still have a bit of discharge in them, and that's more than likely going to be a lifelong battle for her, which is why she has to go in for weekly neti pots, basically. So she's gonna be a bit of a special case for the rest of her life, but I work at an exotic bird hospital, so nothing I can't handle. She's very forgiving too, so I'm able to restrain her for her beak and nail trims. I'm even able to restrain her to give her medications, and she's a very forgiving bird, so, she does get a little bit scared whenever you reach for her head because she's so used to being grabbed up to, be given all of her medications. In the hospital, we were having to grab her up every single day to give her fluids. When she first came in, because of how sick she wasn't eating, so we were having to grab her up to tube feed her, meaning we would literally shove a tube down her throat while we stretch her out and restrain her to be able to feed her, because she's not eating and she refused to take the hand feed. She would just spit it out. So basically, about $2,000, almost $3,000 later, the owners were like, look, we love her and all, but we can't keep doing this. This is $2,000, $3,000, for this 30-year-old bird, and they just, decided it would be a lot cheaper to just have her euthanized. So they requested that we euthanize her, and the owner of the hospital that I work for refused to. She said, I still believe she has a fighting chance. I understand that this is way too much money, so we will give you the option to relinquish her to the hospital. But we just can't euthanize her because we really think that she can make it. We really think she has a fighting chance. So the owners eventually agreed to relinquish her to the hospital, where she has been living for the past 6 to 8 months, roughly. Yeah, she's finally cured of her chlamydia. She's pretty much cured of her aspergillosis and her pseudomonas. She's just battling a little bit with the pseudomonas because it is very resistant to a lot of the medications that we have. So yeah, really the only issue she has now is a little bit of itchiness and some discharge from the nose, occasional sneezing. But, hey, she's alive. That's what matters. She's alive and she shouldn't be. But yeah, that's just the short, brief version of Coco's story. When I was first working at the hospital, I didn't know that she had chlamydia. And so she was such a sweet bird. I would just kiss all over her, and I would just be holding her and rubbing my face up against her and snuggling with her and, you know, doing all that. And then one day someone comes up to me and they're like, you know, you shouldn't really be doing that. And I was like, why? They're like, well, I mean, beyond the fact that it can cause them to be hormonal, and beyond the fact that, you know, you have tons of bacteria in your mouth, so you really shouldn't be kissing on your bird anyway. But main reason you shouldn't be doing that is because that bird has chlamydia. And I was like, she has what? And my coworkers were like, yeah, that bird that you're kissing all up on, that bird that you're loving all up on, it's got chlamydia, bro. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's because, like, at the time I didn't know that chlamydia could be transferred from birds to humans. And then my coworkers informed me that, yes, she could indeed give me chlamydia. And what do you know? A few days to a week later, I have this nasty cough. I just constant hacking and coughing. And I have asthma, okay? I have asthma, mind you, so I'm used to hacking and coughing, but this was, like, a whole other level of hacking and coughing. I was, like, constant mucus out of my nose. I was coughing up mucus, like yellow, white chunks of mucus. It was bad, and what do you know? I got parrot fever, bitch. Yeah, so she gave me chlamydia. This bird gave me the clap. No lie, bro. I went into my doctor, and she asked me, you know, what my symptoms were, and I told her all the symptoms, and I explained to her that I have been kissing and loving up on a bird that I didn't know had chlamydia, and apparently it can transfer to humans. And so my doctor, being a human doctor, has never heard of this, so she looks it up and she's like, oh, sure enough, yep, you have all the symptoms, you have, you know. And parrot fever / psittacosis / avian chlamydia is actually pretty rare, only because they believe it's not diagnosed properly. Like, a lot of the time people will come in with parrot fever not knowing that they have it because they don't know that their bird has chlamydia, and even if they do know, that a lot of the time they don't know that they can get that chlamydia from their bird. So people will go into the doctor and they'll just write it off as like a common cold, or as asthma, or allergies, or as the flu, or as, you know, bronchitis. It gets written off a lot as pneumonia and as bronchitis. Parrot fever, there have been a lot of studies done where doctors believe parrot fever and getting chlamydia from birds is actually a lot more common than people think. It's just that they're getting misdiagnosed. But it doesn't matter, because a lot of the time the treatment is the same. Now, the main, only real good treatment for avian chlamydia or psittacosis is doxycycline. And doxycycline is a prescription, basically a really broad spectrum, upper respiratory antibiotic type thing. And that's really the only known good treatment for avian chlamydia. But the difference is, chlamydia that you get from birds isn't sexual. It's not it's nothing to do with your reproductive system. It's everything to do with your respiratory system, your respiratory tract. So all of the symptoms of avian chlamydia is coughing, wheezing, sneezing, nasal discharge, hacking up blood even. It's all respiratory. It's nothing to do with your lady bits or your manhood. It's all respiratory. So when I say I got chlamydia from my bird, I'm not pissing blood. I don't have, like, painful peeing. I don't have, like, it's not something that you would fuck me and get. It's something I would cough on you and you would get it type shit. And the way people get it, the way birds get it, first of all, is from their parents. So it's passed down, because, I mean, the mother lays the egg, and of course the egg then has chlamydia because it came from the mom, and of course it was developed in a bird with chlamydia, so then it's passed down to the babies. But it's curable. The issue is breeders don't give a fuck, so they don't test their birds for anything. So a lot of the time these breeders are breeding birds that have chlamydia, don't even know it, because the bird can be completely asymptomatic. And then of course it's just passing down generation after generation, and people don't test their birds because they don't think that birds can get chlamydia, much less a chlamydia that can be spread to us. So yeah, she more than likely got it from her mom and her dad. And then humans get it from, you can literally get avian chlamydia just by cleaning up after their poop, just touching their feces. Even birds have a dust, so whenever they molt their feathers, there's like a clear shaft of like dead skin built up around that feather, and then they'll use their beak and they'll drag their beaks down that shaft, and it sort of just breaks away into like this dustiness. So birds are very dusty creatures, and you can get avian chlamydia just by inhaling the dust from the bird. That's literally all it takes. I'm gonna make a separate story time for or a separate video for the story time where I basically almost killed her. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Little brief story time of the time my bird gave me chlamydia, as well as a little brief history of my new friend. So yeah, that's Coco. This is my baby. Yeah. This is the sweetest bird I have ever met. The sweetest bird. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more, and don't be afraid to hit that little notification bell to get notified every single time that I post, because it's very rarely, I almost never post. I promise I will not annoy you, because you'll literally never get a notification, because I never post. Anyway, remember, if you can't be good, you better be good at it, and bitch, I love you. If you haven't heard enough, bitch, you are important. You are setting out to do great shit in this world. You're gonna accomplish whatever the fuck you set out to do. I believe in you. A lot of people aren't told that enough. They don't hear it enough on a regular basis to believe it. So bitch, you better believe it when it comes from me. I believe in you. You're amazing. You are loved. You are important. Y'all have a good one.